Hello and welcome to Mythology Abridged. Um, I was thinking about doing this for a while, and I met a squatter today in real life. Ah, so cool! And I'm all, filled with the essence and spirit of Swift, and you gotta channel it out somehow. And what better way than to abridge some stuff? So I'm gonna abridge some stuff. What I'm going to be, I might start, maybe not to get too much ahead of myself, but I would like to do a series of abridging of mythology. Um, I, I fucking love mythology. It's awesome. Um, and So I might thought I'd do a little bit of stories from here, from different areas in the world, more of the ones that I'm kind of familiar with, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna make any big promises. So what I'm going to be telling you about today um, is it's the same thing I read a few videos or days back. It is the Enuma Elish. It's the Babylonian Creation Myth. And it is very cool because it's there's a lot of sort of stories in the area of the Fertile Crescent and the Levant, and Jordan, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Iran, that have a lot of very similar themes in them, and it's really cool to see how things are so connected, and that no culture is in a vacuum, and so yeah. Let's. I mean, I think I've technically already begun this, but let's get to this. Well, no. So the Enuma Elish. Enuma Elish is the first lines. It's based on the first two words of the text. It means sort of like from above, or the literal, or the sort of what they would mean is the literal meaning is from above before, and it would sort of mean sort of like in the beginning of time, and it sort of tells, there's sort of like a theogony, the birth of the gods, and then there's war and battle and politics, and then and other stuff as well. So I wrote a few notes. You might hear me clicking around because I wrote my notes on my computer. I've been babbling for 3 minutes. So this is an old text. It's written in a very high Akkadian dialect. It is maybe from the 18th to 16th century BCE, but maybe also a little later, like 1500 BCE. Nobody knows. The text is made out of 7 tablets, 12 tablets. No, 12 tablets is the Epic of Gilgamesh. We'll get to that at some point. 7 tablets, even though maybe I think they might have found an 8th one. Okay. So the text starts. I have a few translations. So I'll read you a bit of the English one. So the text starts. When the sky above was not named, and the earth beneath did not yet bear a name, the primeval Apsu, who begat them, and Chaos, Tiamat, the mother of them both. Their waters were mingled together, and no field was formed, no marsh was to be seen, when of the gods none of them had been called into being. So we have two sort of elements here of creation. There's the element of, there's two bodies of water, Apsu, which is the god of sweet waters, and Tiamat, who is the goddess of salt waters, so the ocean. And they're both the only beings in the world. And there's also a very strange sort of bit that's sort of leaked into here, is calling the gods into being, which is something that is not seen as much in the Akkadian myth. It's seen more in like Egyptian myths and a lot of Jewish mythology. Sort of the opening, when a god opens a mouth and calls everything else into being. So um, so we have the creation from Tiamat and Apsu. All the gods are created, and the way they do this is by mingling their waters, um, which is an interesting way to describe procreation. I guess if you're two bodies of water, I don't know. I'm not going to think into it too much. So Apsu and Tiamat, they mingle their waters together, and from that they make the rest of the gods. And Tiamat is also somehow related to the Hebrew word tehom, which means abyss. So Tiamat is sort of like, she's the sort of primordial figure. She's chaos. She's the world before it begins. And I talk really fast, don't I? So they create from the mingling of the waters. There are several gods that are creators. There's Ea, who resides in Tiamat's vast body, and they make a lot of baby gods. And the gods make the baby gods, little gods, make a lot of noise, and they really annoy the old guys, the two older folk, because kids, fuck them, they make a lot of noise. So Apsu wants to kill the younger gods, but Tiamat disagrees, because they're her babies. Why would you kill your babies? But some other dude agrees to help Apsu with his plan to destroy the younger gods, and Tiamat warns them that they should not. So wait, let me look over my notes for a minute. I got lost. There's so many names. Everybody's got so many names. Each god has like 5 names, because there's like a Sumerian name and an Akkadian name, and then there's like a High Akkadian name. It's very confusing. Just keep one. You only need one name. So one god kills another god, and in the end, the younger gods discover this plan, and they get annoyed, and they kill Apsu, and Tiamat is very upset, and then we get this new character introduced, Marduk, who is actually technically the hero, the central figure of the story. This story, we'll see soon, is accommodated to him. It's accommodated? I don't know, words are hard. The story is built around him. Whatever. Marduk he's given the wind to play with, and he makes dusts and storms and and he disrupts Tiamat. And there's Tiamat gets angry, and she creates she gets some gods to join her, and she creates 11 monsters which have epic names. epic names. Now, I know this is technically supposed to be abridged, but I'm going to read you those names. I'm not going to read you the original names because there's like Basamu and Mushuha'u and Kululu. But there's a lot of them. I'm going to read you the names because they're epic as fuck. There's the venomous snake, the great dragon, the exalted serpent, the furious snake, the hairy one, the big weather beast, the mad lion, the scorpion man, violent storms, fish man, and bull man. Now that is a squad. That's a squad to be reckoned with. Epic as fuck. She also has a new husband, and she elevates her new husband to a sort of a godlike position. And but he's kind of, I think he's like, it's not really mentioned that much in the text here, but I sort of remember that he's like mixed. She creates him, and he's like sort of ish the first man. It's created from blood and soil, and I forget what he was all about. Maybe I'll remember. Anyway, he's the new husband, and all the younger gods don't really know what to do. Oh, I remember. Kingo means unskilled, the unskilled laborer, which is a less epic term to have. And he, never mind. I'm getting into a different myth. Never mind. We'll do human creation myths later because they're also awesome. So where was I? Marduk offers the younger gods, which he is part of, that he promises them that he will save the younger generation of gods if he is appointed as their leader. So here we're starting to get into the more political part of this, which is really cool and really interesting. So he will save the gods if he can be the leader, and if he can remain leader even after the threat of Tiamat chaos passes. So the gods are sort of like, they don't really know what to do, and they sort of, their options, there's a lot of like fighting described before, which I sort of skipped over, but much fighting, gods fighting, big crash, yeah. So they run out of options and they agree. So he is selected as the champion of the gods against Tiamat, and he becomes incredibly powerful. Like, he gets power up, and he goes and challenges Tiamat, and he destroys her. They combat for a while, and she's like strong. She's like the mother of all, big mama. Yeah. And he destroys her, and he slashes her corpse in two, which is, it's like, she's described sometimes as like the ocean, but also sometimes as like this sort of huge alligator or dragon or lizard. There's a lot of like different ways to describe her. So, and this is also kind of cool because you get to see sort of different myths and different ideas, like older ideas, getting mushed into one. So if we started talking to her about her as a god, as an ocean before, like a literal ocean, then we can see that there are other sources that would talk about her as a lizard-ish, alligator, dragon-y type thing, and then that would make more sense to tear her in half. So Marduk tears Tiamat in half, and from the top he creates the skies, and from the bottom he creates the earth. And he then starts getting super organized, like super organized. Okay? He makes the earth and the sky, and then he creates the calendar. He organizes all the planets and the stars, like on the weekend. You just put them all in place. And then he regulates the moon, the sun, and the weather. Maybe they could use some weather regulation in Westeros. Send Marduk over. And the gods that were pledged to Tiamat before are forced into labor in the service of the gods who died, who sided with died. Everybody died. They're forced into labor in service of Marduk and his posse. They're later. They're okay. We get back to Kingu. I forget. They're freed from their labors because Marduk destroys Tiamat's second husband, second consort, Kingu, and uses his blood to create humankind to do the work for the gods. So, and then Marduk is symbolically elevated above a previous god, who was the other Mesopotamian king of the gods, and Marduk becomes the king of all gods and of Babylon, and then Babylon becomes an empire, and there you go. And then the last few tablets or the last two are the descriptions, are telling you the 50 names of Marduk. It's a lot of fucking names. You see, you only really need one. That's what you really need. But he has 50 names. Actually, the Jewish God has 70. Meh. Who cares? Too many. Overkill. Name overkill. Yeah, so this is really interesting. That was the end. They fought, she died. Earth, sky, make the world cool, make people to work for gods, and gods go lie down, have beer. So this is kind of cool. I really like this text, and I like a lot of creation myths because it's kind of nice the way there's sort of like a similarity to actual creation. Like a lot of times it starts out from chaos, and then they sort of skip, big bangy stuff and things and expansion, universe expansion. But it's a lot of creation myths have life start from water, which I think is fucking awesome because marine life is the beginning of everything. You were all once fish. Shout out to some marine life in our squad. You're awesome. Yeah, and I could go on for a while. In addition to being a mythology geek, I'm also an astronomy geek and a biology geek and an evolution geek, and just too much. It weighs on my head. I could talk about shit for hours. How long have I been talking for, actually? 19 minutes. Awesome. Shorter than I expected. So this story is basically it's a political story. It places Marduk, a relatively unknown god before that, in the center of a story and creates him as a sort of a hero and the defeater of the older generation of gods, and makes him. This is at the when the Babylonian Empire was starting to take over the Fertile Crescent and the area. Before that, it's made up the area was made up of a lot of city-states, and they all, battled between them, and everyone was technically independent, but, everybody wants more power than they have. Everybody wants more than they have. Um, and so Babylon's taken over, and this story is sort of affirming their god as the god, and the figure who brings organization into a world of chaos and makes everything right, and makes everything organized, and writes rules, and makes civilization. And it's cool, and it used to be read every year on the Akkadian Babylonian New Year. There's like a lot of like where the tablets were found. It's like in a context that shows that it was read in sort of uh, ritual activities, like a reenactment or a dramatic reading of the text. And it's also written. It has like a beat to it. It's like it has like a beat to how you're supposed to read it, and I think that's it. So if you enjoyed this and you want more, you will tell me, or you won't tell me, and you'll just like and love and spread all the love. And if you would like, I will do more. I'll probably do more even if you don't like. I enjoy reading shit and talking into a screen. Anyway, so yeah, awesome. Love you all, and bye.